Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Nero here. In this video, we're going to take a look at the two new heroes, Lorsan and Orthos. But before that, I'm going to try my luck on the Celestial Island once again. I have 5 keys right now. And I hope that I can get the ultimate reward right now, which is Brutus. So let's go. So I'm not very lucky this time. And yeah. So I have used up all my keys and I still got nothing. But anyways, let's take a look at the two new heroes now. Okay? So let's take a look at Lorsan first. Here he is. Let's take a look at his skills. Okay, so his ultimate skill is Tempest. Anyways, there are new icons here. Can this be clickable? Okay, primary role AoE, secondary role debuffer. Okay, so we now have new icons and we can check the heroes' roles by checking those icons. Anyways, back to the skill. Lorsan summons a Tempest amongst a concentrated area of enemies that continuously grows larger over time, dealing AoE damage multiple times to its surrounding enemies. Once reaching its maximum size, the Tempest will explode, dealing 200% damage to nearby enemies. At level 2, Final Explosion causes nearby enemies to lose 50% of their energy. At level 3, Final Explosion damage is increased up to 250%. So his ultimate skill doesn't deal much damage even if it's maxed out. However, at level 2, it becomes very useful, especially against heroes like Chimera or Lucius or any other heroes with annoying ultimate skills. Looking at that special effect of his ultimate skill, which causes the enemies to lose 50% energy, I think equipping him with Dura's Call will be very useful, especially in PvP. Just imagine your enemies who can't even cast their ultimates because they're lacking energy to cast their ult. Anyways, let's take a look at his second skill. Inner Sight. Lorsan attacks an enemy for 170% damage and marks them with his Inner Sight symbol, which persists until the end of the battle. The symbol allows the ultimate ability damage of allied heroes to be raised by 160% against marked enemies for 4 seconds when an ultimate ability is used. This ability prioritizes unmarked heroes first. At level 2, damage is increased by up to 220%. At level 3, ultimate ability damage dealt to marked enemies by all allied heroes is increased by 190%. At level 4, ultimate ability damage dealt to marked enemies by all allied heroes is increased to 220%. So we've got another hero that will be very useful against Riz. With the release of this new hero, I think the current meta that is being used against Riz will be changed. Alright, so let's move on to the next skill, Gale Force. Lorsan links the farthest and closest enemies together. When one of the two enemies received any damage, the other will receive 80% of the damage received. At level 2, if a linked enemy dies, the other surviving linked enemy will be stunned for 5 seconds. At level 3, transfer damage received by linked enemies is increased by up to 120%. This skill is really cool. Aside from making the enemies receive more damage, once the other linked hero die, the other hero will be stunned for 5 seconds. So this will really be a game changer. Alright, so anyways, let's take a look at the fourth skill, Wind Ward. Cast the shield upon 2 random allies which lasts for 7 seconds and is able to reduce damage equal to 250% of Lorsan's own attack rating. At level 2, allies currently protected by the shield will have their dodge increased by 90 points. If the ally being protected is a wilder hero, the shield's value will be increased a further 20%. At level 3, value of shield is increased to 300% of attack rating value. So looking at Lorsan's skill set, he's gonna be a very good support type hero. I really like his fourth skill. He's like Grezel, but the difference is that instead of magic resistance, he gives his allies dodge, and also he can cast the shield to 2 of his allies. So it's really cool. Anyways, let's take a look at him in action. Okay, so that's the Link skill. Oh, look at that. Look at how long that stun is. It's really nice. Okay. So that's his ultimate skill. And if you may notice, he is casting his shield very frequently. So it's really nice. And if you put him together with Lucius, I think that they will be a very good combo. And as you can see as well, as I said earlier, his ultimate skill doesn't really do much damage, but the effect which reduces the enemy's energy is really nice. And by the way, if you may notice, the 50% energy which this skill refers to is that the 50% of the enemy's current energy. Because if you take a look at the enemies here, when he casts his ult, even though their energy bars are below 50%, it doesn't go 0. I don't know if it's a bug or something, or maybe that's just how it works against minions, and it's different against heroes. Anyways, let's take a look at the other hero, Orthos. Okay, so here he is. So looking here, he is a strength-based hero, and he is a tank and a debuffer as well. Let's check his ultimate skill, Time Suppression. Orthos stops time for 3 seconds, causing everyone and everything but himself to become frozen. Orthos then attacks the weakest enemy on the battlefield at lightning speed, inflicts 60% damage per attack on the enemy. At level 2, damage increased by up to 70%, at level 3, 80%. I wonder if his ultimate skill will also stop the battle timer, and if it can be used together with Chimera for a combo. I'm really excited to use him. So anyways, let's take a look at his second skill, Time Trap. At the beginning of the battle, Orthos will set up a time trap that individually targets 2 enemies that are currently closest to him. The time traps will then explode within the first 20 seconds of the battle. Once the time trap is triggered, it will cause 320% AoE damage to nearby enemies. The time trap will also be triggered if an affected enemy dies. At level 2, damage is increased by up to 360%. At level 3, enemies injured by the explosion are stunned for 3 seconds. At level 4, damage is increased by up to 400%. I love crowd control skills, especially stun, but the downside of this skill is that it can only be used once per battle. That's why I'm not very impressed. Anyways, let's take a look at the third skill, Inertia. deals 200% damage to a single enemy target, and prevents them from recovering energy for the following 9 seconds. At level 2, damage is increased by up to 220%. At level 3, damage is increased by up to 240%. This skill is really nice. It prevents your enemies from regenerating or recovering energy for 9 seconds. So imagine 9 seconds your enemies will not be able to cast their ultimate. How nice is that? So let's take a look at the 4th skill. Celestial Vigor. Orthos max health is increased by 2.5% per second up until it reaches 150%. The ratio of Orthos' current health will not be affected by the new increased max health value. Zolrat's Deja Vu ability will not affect this ability's cumulative time. At level 2, after 15 seconds of the battle, Orthos will recover 3% of his max health per second. At level 3, after 30 seconds of the battle, Orthos will become immune to control abilities. Wow! So, don't you think that Orthos is pretty OP as a tank? Imagine, 3% of his max health is regenerated per second. So, do you think he will still die? So, he's pretty OP as a tank, and also, he will be immune to any control skills after 30 seconds. So, he's really a nice tank. And also, he's a Celestial, so he can fit any team. So, yeah, he's really nice. Unless there's any problem with the translation of the description of his abilities, then I think that he will really be OP as a tank. Anyways, let's take a look at him in action. So, that's his time trap. And that's his ultimate. It's pretty cool. The animation of his ultimate skill is really nice. I love it. Let's see how much damage he will make against full health hero. Oh, so his ultimate skill cannot kill a minion. But I really like the animation. He's like Luffy. Okay. But I'm seeing one problem here. He's not regenerating health. It's already past 30 seconds, so I wonder what's the problem here. He should be regenerating 3% health per second after 15 seconds of the battle. Okay, let's take a look at the description again. So after 15 seconds of the battle, Orthos will recover 3% of his max health per second. So why is that not happening? I think it's a bug, or maybe it's a problem with the description of the skill, just like before. Anyways, I thought he will really be a good tank. Anyways, I really don't know if it's a bug or it's just a problem with the description. If it's a bug, then let's just wait until it's fixed. But if it's a problem with the description, then it really sucks. Anyways, that's it for this hero, guys. As you can see, he's really not regenerating health. Or maybe it's not 3%. Maybe it's 0.3% per second. That's why it's not very noticeable. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this hero. And let's take a look at their signature items first, okay? Here are the signature items of both heroes. You can pause the video so that you can read them, alright? So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. You have a great day, guys, and peace. See you in the next video.